I felt like he was gatekeeping me. Like, I was like, this is such a long process of all these little things back and forth, all these appointments. But I'm really glad that he did, because we would have never caught this, because also my kidneys are failing. And
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Oh, today we're going to talk about something that I find to be extremely serious. I mean, I might laugh a little bit, but it is serious and it's not okay. And I feel my responsibility as an elder in the transsexual, especially the trans male community, because of these types of things. So I just want to get right into it here because it's a really important conversation. So I'm going to start with this one guy that I found, or actually, someone sent it to me. Most of the stuff I get, people send me. So I'm going to start with this guy, and then I might talk in and out of the video. So let me just see how I feel about it, or I might just say everything at the end. Let's go.
This is something I wasn't told when I started T over 10 years ago. If you're a trans masculine and you've been on hormones for 5+ years or so, it's likely that you'll start to experience some reproductive health issues. It's also likely that if you go to your doctor, they'll tell you that you need to get a hysterectomy. And I want to say that that isn't necessarily true. There are some specific conditions where a hysterectomy is necessary, but there are also many, many reasons why you could be having issues down
Many,
there.
many.
I recently had a friend who was visiting me from out of town, and they've been on T for about 6 years, and they said they were starting to have some bad cramping that
Yeah.
was really painful, and they went to their doctor, and without doing any testing, the doctor recommended a hysterectomy.
So let me just stop right there. Okay. First off, there's not many reasons you are cramping. There's probably a couple reasons. The number one reason, and how do I know this? Because I had this situation happen to me. That is called atrophy. It is either the beginning of atrophy or your atrophy is totally out of control. If you don't know what atrophy is, let me back up a little bit here. That person and me are a biological female. Why biology matters in transitioning, you still have a female body here. You have female reproductive system, whatever you guys out there want to call it, because you're dysphoria. I respect that. But it is a female reproductive system, which functions on estrogen. Okay. Once you add testosterone to your diet, you have now eliminated the estrogen a lot of times within that reproductive space, which starts to cause problems. The number one problem, and in my experience, and by a lot of trans men, including Marcus, contacting me, oh my God, Trampa, I have these horrible cramps. I don't know what they are. I'm not kidding. There must have been 100 guys contacting me and saying that. And I'm like, dude, that's atrophy. You got to get to the gynecologist and you got to go look inside. You are missing estrogen out of your diet. That's what's causing it. It's taking the estrogen out, meaning that atrophy is the hardening of the linings. That's why you're cramping like that. Sometimes, if you catch it in enough time and you add estrogen, you might be able to pull it back a little bit. That's what the doctor said to me. I was just way too far gone because I was already 15 years on. I had to have an emergency hysterectomy. But, anyways, it's not about me so much as this person saying things that I find to be actually kind of dangerous. I don't know if that word really, but not right. So first off, it is probably atrophy. So you need to get to the doctor immediately because it can cause a lot of problems. And your doctor should be prescribing you an estrogen supplement. At this point, that person probably already needs to do a suppository, but that's going to cause a lot of dysphoria for a lot of you guys. I've been talking about this for a long time. It's kind of funny how he's acting as if it hasn't been being talked about. I have videos. I've been pushing it. I created a website, but you know how these guys feel about me. So let's move on here.
And I was really glad that they were there and we got to have this conversation because about 2 years ago, I was also having some really severe cramping. And I actually had the opportunity to talk with a transmasculine nurse practitioner who explained to me the range of reasons why that could be happening, from pelvic floor dysfunction to things going on with the uterus or the ovaries.
Well, that is The atrophy, things going on. What kind of medical language is that? Now, secondly, I want to let you know there could be things going on, but I will almost guarantee you if you've been pumping testosterone, it's atrophy. Number one. Number two, yes, the uterine lining gets the inside of the vaginal canal becomes very thin, the lining, because then again, the estrogen is being removed. That's why you get stinging. A lot of women going through menopause, this is exactly what's happening. This is basically fast forwarding menopause into trans men. And that's what's happening because that's what menopause is. It's the reduction of estrogen in your vaginal space. So no, it's not many things. It might be a couple things. Okay. So, and also that's a trans mask nurse practitioner. That's not a gynecologist.
So the vaginal wall degrading over time. There's a wide range of reasons why that could be happening. And they said your doctor will likely say you need a hysterectomy, but there are actually many ways that you can treat these things, depending on what it is, through other means that don't involve invasive surgery.
Okay, tell us.
So I reached out to the community and I found that there is a number of transmasculine people who routinely go off of testosterone in order to allow their body to take some time to heal those tissues. They'll have a couple of periods and then go back onto T.
Okay. I'm just going to show you the whole difference between a trans mask identified person and a transsexual. I would be mortified to go off of testosterone to get my period again. What? Then what kind of dysphoria do you have? That is a major part of dysphoria for a lot of transsexual men. And let me tell you something else. There is nothing wrong with getting a hysterectomy. Now, if you're 20, I highly recommend that you do estrogen supplements, do all these things to try to prevent having a hysterectomy. But I'm sorry, this is the things you have to take on when you transition. It's not all fun and games like you guys keep saying. It's euphoric. No, it isn't. These are the kind of things that you have to sit with yourself for a while. And this is why therapy is so important. It's not a game. To go on and off of hormones like that is also not good for your body. There is no way that is good for your body. That's what bodybuilders do. And it comes down to the fact that they're all unhealthy after that. It's shocking your heart. It's doing so many things to your body. If you're not going to be committed to the transition, that's not committing. Okay, that's playing around. And that is a whole other level. And that's also not healthy. Playing with hormones is not good. That's the commitment I took on myself, not even understanding 32 years ago where I was going to be with this. Today, I'm a healthy 62-year-old. I had a hysterectomy and an emergency one because I didn't have this information that a lot of these guys have today, acting like they don't have it. They 100% have it, but they don't want to hear it. I'm sorry, but I disagree with going on and off of hormones. What is that? That is the difference between you and me. I would much rather have, when I transitioned, I was 30, by the way, can make all those choices in the world.
And so I decided to give that a try. I've been off of T about 1.5 years, and it completely resolved all of my issues.
Of course it resolved it, because you're lucky, first off, that your ovaries didn't just bust out and you couldn't get back. But you see, that's my point. The minute you go off testosterone, your estrogen comes back and you start making estrogen again, and then you start getting your period. I would die. I would just die and I guarantee you there's a lot of trans men out there who would not be okay with doing that. So what's the other alternative?
So I told this to my friend, and I'm glad we had this conversation because they were on the brink of scheduling their hysterectomy because, of course,
Wow.
Hearing that from their doctor, they thought that was the truth. So I just want to say, if you're in this situation and you have any hesitancy around getting a hysto, you get to take the time to consider other options, and I hope that you take it.
Yeah. So thank you, friend. Thank you for giving them that advice. But I'm going to give you another advice. prior to taking testosterone, why don't you go to some therapy and sit with yourself for a little while and decide whether or not this is actually the route you want to take for the rest of your life? Because if you look at this person, they look like me. I don't care how much testosterone they're going off of or what they're doing. They're never going to change the way they look, ever. That's also a part of transitioning. There is no going back. So these are part of the things you have to take on. You don't get everything when you transition. I don't understand this idea. Once you transition, the whole world bows down. You are taking on a commitment for life, and you are taking on a commitment that does things to your body. Are you actually willing to do that? Are you willing to do that? I really want you to think about what you're doing. Look at me. I'm not going back to living as a lady. Not that I ever was a lady, but you all know what I'm saying. And I hope you understand why I'm being a little frustrated around this stuff, because I'm going to bring you up another video that makes me just as frustrated.
So a little bit of HRT gatekeeping is actually a good thing. Let me tell you why. So I stopped testosterone. I'm not on HRT right now because recently I did my testosterone labs and they came back as 4,800, not 480, but 4,800, like near 5,000. And the normal male range is between 3 and 900, I believe. So they try to keep trans men in that same window.
What?
And for reference, I'm on the 1.62 gel, like 3 doses a day. And so like, why would it go this high on gel? We don't know, but we do know that everyone's body absorbs testosterone and processes it differently, and mine is absorbing it at like a varsity level apparently. But what we do know is that having it that high is very dangerous because it puts you at risk for like a cardiac event or like blood pressure issues or potentially.
Okay, this dude's, did you hear how high the testosterone? That is insane. Why aren't you monitoring your testosterone 3 times a day? What is happening? These people are so out of control. Did you notice in the beginning? I think we actually need a little gatekeeping. We need a lot of gatekeeping. You guys are out of control. Like, what is happening? You know what happens? The rest of the world sees this, and I'm bringing attention to it, by the way, because the rest of the world does need to see this. Because as far as I'm concerned, as an elder, this should never be happening. Dude, you could have had a heart attack by now. You could literally be dead. Okay, your cholesterol's all over the place. Why? Why were you doing it 3 times a day? And then you said, we don't know. I know why, because you overdid it, thinking you were going to get all like, rah. That's not how testosterone works. That's not even how bodybuilders use testosterone.
The excess testosterone can convert into estrogen. My estrogen is like around 68, and I think they try to keep trans men between 10 and 50. But anyways, my doctor said that I have to go off of it for about like 3 to 6 months because that's the amount of time that it would take for my body to clear testosterone completely. And then we're going to start injections because you can be a lot more precise with like the dosages with injections versus gel. And I'm really not looking forward to this, but as much as I want to be the most roided out dude, it's just not the safest thing for my body. I got a new PCP and he required me to do all these labs before re-prescribing me testosterone, despite the fact that I've been on it for 2 years, and I felt like he was gatekeeping me. Like, I was like, this is such a long process of all these little things back and forth, all these appointments. But I'm really glad that he did, because we would have never caught this, because also my kidneys are failing and all these issues.
His kidneys are failing. Wow. If that doesn't make the whole system shut down and reevaluate, and he keeps talking about how the fact I feel gatekeeped. When did this idea of gatekeeping become a bad thing? This is why I'm telling you, I'm exposing this BS, toxic, gross community of trans mask, right? What is trans mask? Does it mean you're committing to a transition? Or you just feel like, oh, I'm going to go on and off hormones. I'm going to grow a little mustache. I'm going to get kidney failure. But I've never had any problems except for atrophy in my reproductive system, because nobody knew 32 years ago. Today, they do know. But other than that, that's the only health problem I've ever had. Why? Why are these young kids having so many health problems? Kidney failure? Oh my God, it's shocking. His testosterone is out into the universe, and his estrogen is oh my God, I'm just so flustered right now because the numbers are, I'm surprised. I'm just surprised you're not.
Are very workable, but just something I wouldn't have expected. But yeah, the reason why
it's just something I wouldn't have expected, because you were not educated. And because you were not educated, you now have kidney failure. That's sad. That makes me sad. So you had to go off testosterone, and instead of using the gel, you might have to do. I've been doing injections since day one. There's nothing. Injections are 100 times better. But what are you so fearful? If you're going to transition, you must commit, and it is why we need to be evaluated before we move forward. Maybe you're not trans. Maybe you just have some body stuff going on. Maybe you're just dealing with some other stuff going on. Transition is not the cure-all be-all. There's still a lot of problems that come along with it. And you all think it's just euphoric. If kidney failure is euphoric, then I'm missing out. Okay, I got a surprise one for you because I got to take a left turn because this stuff is just so. I mean, it's just not right. It's just not right. I'm here to help. I'm not here to do anything else but help get our system back in a solid foundation so these young people are not suffering and everyone in the world doesn't think we're all a bunch of wingnuts and testosterone isn't just flung out like candy from Planned Parenthood and all these online spaces just directing. It's all money making off the backs of these young kids who are going to suffer the consequences, not these pharma companies, because they're just going to walk away and find another group of people to target. Anyway, let's do this one because I'm just going to leave you with this because I love you guys so much. And you're going to love it. You're going to love it.
You are not in trouble. It's okay. No one is angry with you. You can take a few breaths.
Oh, wow. Just wow.
Be okay. Dude. You are not in trouble. You are okay.
What? Who are you? Oh my God. This dude thinks he's like a guru or some kind of spiritual being. No, actually creepy, dude. Just so you know, I don't know what's going on there, but you should stop already because actually it's insane. It's just totally insane. Anyway, I'm going to leave you all now with that. So I know you all hate me. I'll see you guys all on the live on Wednesday. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Pass it around to the young people who need to see what's going on here. I care. I actually care. I'm not doing this because I think I'm better than. I'm doing this because I care about the future of the transsexual males and the trans people in the community who actually really need to transition. Okay, we need to put a cap on this stuff. I'll see you guys all on the next one. Have a beautiful day. Sending you tons of love.